I saw a TikTok that said something like all it took was them having a cute guy as the Bachelor for everyone to get on board again. And I couldn't agree more because Joey has been probably, I can't think of a Bachelor that I was like, he's cute. Like, I would go on there for him. There have been contestants that haven't been picked as the Bachelor that I've thought of but never a Bachelor where I was like, I'd go on there for him. And so when it was announced that he was going to be the Bachelor, I was like, oh, this is going to get interesting because I might just get roped back in again. I actually quit. I didn't watch Clayton's season. I've kind of quit the last few seasons. I watched Zach's season. That was probably the last one. I didn't even watch Charity season. I don't know. I feel like The Bachelor used to be so fun and exciting to watch. And in recent years, I've just been kind of like, this ain't it. But it's back. And this time I think it's actually going to be a pretty good season. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we see as soon as it starts, we see they're basically showing us the last episode or like a snippet of the last episode, which is him on the beach crying. A car is driving away. I'm assuming, unless there's like a big twist at the end, I'm assuming that's like the runner up that's in the car. You know, it was such like a hard decision. That's what I took from it. I don't know. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But I found it interesting that they started it like that. And they even showed like all the producers and stuff in the background. Like it was kind of like interesting way of starting the season, I feel, and letting us all in on like what things really look like behind the scenes. We got the Billie Eilish song in the background, just making it, you know, even more sadder than it needs to be. And they show the footage with Charity. Now, I didn't watch Charity season. It seemed as if he was her runner up. Charity. I can't believe it. I can't believe she didn't choose him. Clearly the connection with the other guy was stronger, but I'm just shocked because usually they have obviously picked like runner-ups in the past, but usually they don't pick the runner-up, you know, like the second pick. So they must have just really liked him, I guess. We see him, you know, before going into the mansion, talking with his family. He has two sisters. I thought in that moment, oh, he's the younger brother. But then later on, he says he has an older sister and a younger sister. So he's the middle child. Same. It's funny that the sisters say that it's like going to be cringy to watch him make out with multiple women, because that's definitely how I'd feel if my brother was the Bachelor. I'd be like, don't do that. Don't do that on TV. Before he enters the mansion, he's talking with Jesse, and Jesse tells him that he's making history because apparently that there's more women there that showed up for him than there has been in any other season. I'm not surprised, but I am kind of like, okay, so I'm not tripping. It's not just me that's a little more intrigued this season. He clearly made an impression on like a lot of women. You know, it's interesting because we see all the girls that come out of the limo, right? And there's like, obviously they focus more on some women over other women. So I think it's very telling. Like if you really pay attention, they give more screen time, at least in that entrance, getting out of the limo, on the girls that are going to be like important to the season, right? That are going to make it through, including the woman he picks. So I always try to watch for that. Like, okay, the woman he picks is definitely going to be someone that they show like the full limo exit, the full, like some of the background, like some of their actual background, because with many of the women, they just kind of run through it. They're like, they start showing us like mid conversation, you know, or like just the basic conversation that they have, not really the walk out of the limo and all of that. So I try to watch for that because the girl he picks is going to be one of those. It's going to be the one that they show immediately coming out of the limo, their whole interaction, and they're going to give us some background on her, right? Because they want us to like her. They want us to know more about her. So they did that for a few women, obviously. Maria standed out to me. She's has like an out there personality. She said she comes from divorced parents and she's Canadian. Her dress also was really like, I feel like 2000s vibes. I was trying to get a better look at it. I feel like I couldn't really totally see it throughout the night. Like, I hate when they do that. They get them talking from like here up and you can't see sometimes the full dress. So it looked cute to me, but it was definitely giving like 2000s vibes. We have Erica. She stood out to me because she was Dominican and Cuban, and we love to see more representation on The Bachelor. Okay, she's Latina. We love to see that. She comes out dancing, of course. So we'll see. We'll see if she makes it far. We got the girl that gave him the voodoo doll, Kelsey. That was kind of weird. Like, she came out and I was like, is that a voodoo doll? Like, I thought voodoo dolls were like bad. We see the sisters that came on, Allison and Lauren. They have a 2-year age difference. Lauren is the older sister. And, you know, to me, I wouldn't be able to say, oh, yeah, those are sisters. Like, I don't really feel like they look alike that much. Like, not really at all, I feel. But Lauren's entrance was nice. She challenges him to shotgun a beer. She says that, like, no one can beat her. And, of course, she wins. But I don't think we've seen that before. I liked it. She showed that she's like not shy. She's kind of out there. I liked her entrance. And the beer, like the brand was like, I don't know what they did so that we can't see what like brand of beer it is, because I don't know why they do that on TV. Like, are they not allowed to do that, or else they have to cut them a check? Is that how that works? And we see the two sisters they introduce themselves to each other, because I guess they wanted to come on there kind of like a secret, like no one knows at first. So they introduce themselves to one another while they're inside the mansion. Like, I wouldn't even know, honestly, what to do if I had to get out of that limo. Like, you want to be remembered, but you don't want to do too much, and you don't want to be too corny. So it's like, oh, we had I think her name was Jen. She had her little like Mario Kart moment. I thought that was cool. I'd do that one. She looks really young. I didn't get her age, but she has like a baby face for sure. We see Jess. We already know she's going to be a problem. She is the one that comes in on a boat that later tells everyone that she kissed him, and it's a whole thing. I thought Lauren's comment was funny when she saw her come in on the boat, because she's like, I wouldn't want to do something big like that because I'd feel like a dumbass coming in, and like it's too corny. And I was like, she gets me. So they had like many different entrances. Whipped cream, I think one girl brought some kind of spicy soup. They didn't really say what it was. But I think it was some kind of a soup that was spicy. One of the girls came in with like a large oversized bra. And then the other girl who just kind of yells in his face. Oh my God, like I would have died. Like his expression in some of these moments, he's just like, okay, I got to make it through. Like, I got to fake it till I make it. We have the girl that came in with the different sized bananas on the plate. Very interesting. The moaning, aka tennis grunts, coming out of the limo. And then Daisy comes out. Now, she stood out to me because they gave her like an intro. I know that. And they filmed like her whole interaction. So she's going to be she's going to be like a big part of it, I think. But she's one of the few girls that I feel she came off as really grounded, really like genuine and real. If you know, you know. If you've been watching The Bachelor for quite some time, you know where that reference is from. But I really liked her. She said that at 17 she started to lose her hearing, so she has a cochlear implant, and that she hasn't dated since getting her implant, which I can see how that would like make her nervous, especially now that she's on TV. And then we have Leah, who comes in. Is that her name? Leia. No, I think it's Leia. She comes in with the card. So she was one of the girls that I guess met him at after the final rose. I didn't watch that again because I didn't watch the past season with Charity, anything to do with it. So apparently I think she was the only girl that got to meet him, and she got a card. Now she doesn't know what the card says. She can't open it quite yet. So we see their interaction. She's really cute. She seems like she might also go far, and I don't know. I liked her. So we see Jess's interaction with him. She is the first one, at least I think, to kiss him. Because you know the way they film and the way they edit, we don't really know sometimes. Like they make it seem as if this is something that it's not. So I think she was like the first one to kiss him, and of course she goes and she tells all the girls, and that already she's already super out there, and her telling the girls that like they did not like that. So I think she's gonna be like the villain, definitely. It's funny because she's like when she's telling them and she kissed him, someone I don't know who says, "Was he sober?" I don't. It seemed like shade to me. It seemed like shade. So he does kiss a few of the girls. I think he also kisses Jen. A lot of the comments I'm seeing about the girls that they're making is like he makes them feel like seen, like kind of like they're the only ones. And literally, as I'm watching, and he's having, not with all the girls, but with a few of them, like he's talking to them, it seems he gives you like this attention, and maybe it's just his eyes, like he's just so like googly eye and like super interested in what you're saying that it does make you feel like it makes you feel special. Daisy also has a nice moment with him. She comments on how like the implant, I guess she just got the implant recently. I think she said in like a year ago or something like that. So she said she's having, and you can see that like when she's talking to some of the girls, she's having trouble hearing because she's not used to the implant, and with so much noise going on, like it's hard for her to like hear. I can't imagine being in a situation like that. But she's like, you know, I want him to know that I'm much more than just my like disability, because I think a lot of people who have come on, like who was it that also had an implant? It was Abigail. Like they don't want to be necessarily known for that. Obviously it's kind of like seeming like a storyline right now, just to, I think, kind of grab people's attention and letting them know, but you don't want to be defined just for that. And they have a cute moment, they kiss and everything, so I don't know, I like her. I think she's gonna go far. Jesse comes along. Jesse, I'm getting all these names confused. Jesse, the host, okay, the host comes. He puts the first impression rose down, and you know how that goes. Everyone's like, I think Jess, well, see, Jess, you know, thinks she's gonna get it. She's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get that. So as he's talking to Taylor about some family stuff, Jess comes down and interrupts. Mind you, she already had time with him, right? Because she already kissed him and everyone knows that. So she comes down to steal him again. So there we have that classic villain move, constantly coming in and cutting other people's time with him. That always, literally always happens. And no one ever likes that. So on top of her already, you know, rubbing people the wrong way, they're not going to like her for it. So Taylor stood her ground, and she told her kind of like, oh, you know, like, can you just wait? Give us some time. So they literally talk for like maybe a minute more, and then Taylor leaves, and Jess is kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be that girl. And Taylor totally ignores her. And then she says the same thing to Joey, but it's like, you are being that girl though. You can't say, I'm not trying to be that girl, and then be that girl. So after that whole interaction, we do see Taylor come back, tell the girls. She pulls Jess aside, I guess, to talk about the situation, but that didn't really go anywhere. So I also saw something on TikTok. Someone called Taylor out. I don't know. Went to school with her, it seems, about how she was like a big time bully. Her and her crew, I think, were bullies. Who knows? Who knows? We do see Allison and Lauren come clean and tell everyone that they're sisters, and everyone's just kind of like, why? Like, why would y'all both come? And it's kind of interesting because it's like, if you were really serious about being there, I don't think you would come with your sister. Like, it doesn't seem like they're, I don't think, gonna go far, either of them. I know I wouldn't want to compete with my sister for the same guy. We probably wouldn't even be interested in the same guy, honestly. And we see Lauren. So while Lauren is having a talk with Joey, then Allison comes and interrupts, and they kind of just tell him there that they're related. And he's like, yeah, I kind of like came to the conclusion, because as he's talking to both of them, they're both saying they're from, you know, the same city, the same everything. So I think he's putting two and two together. But I kind of feel like he already knew. Like, I kind of feel like even when they came out of the limo, he asked, I think it was Lauren, like a question about family or like siblings. And I was like, it seems like he's sprinkling in something in there like he already knew, which I wouldn't be surprised because it's like this is a TV show. Not everything is going to be kept secret. So I wouldn't be surprised if he really did know that before meeting them. Like, you're going to have two sisters. So finally, Leah comes around. She opens the card with Joey. And it basically says that she can steal a one-on-one date from anyone else before hometowns. I don't totally love this idea. I think that like someone like Jess would have. I mean, baby, she would have ran up on that opportunity to use that card. But I feel like it's one of those, like, if he wanted to, he would. You know, like, he's obviously going to give one-on-ones to people that he's really interested in and wants to see how strong that connection is. So for you to steal that from someone else when he didn't pick you is kind of like, I don't know. But it's like, but maybe that's what you needed for him to get to know you better. You know, it's kind of like a tricky situation. But she was like really, really emotional. Did I call her Leah? I think it's Leia. Well, she was really, really emotional. And I'm not sure why she was so emotional. I thought it was a little bit dramatic. Just a little bit. I like her, but it was just a tad bit dramatic. And so she says she's not going to use it. And she goes to the girls after talking to Joey and tells them what the card says. And everyone's like, oh my God. Someone said that they thought that she was going to have the ability to send someone home. I was like, absolutely not. That is not how The Bachelor works. This is not that kind of show. But she basically burns it. She burns the letter. So she doesn't plan on using it. So Maria comments on like not kissing him, not wanting to kiss him because he's like, I guess, kissed so many other women. But as she's like, you know, talking to him, she ends up kissing him. So we know he's a Gemini. He tells her that he's a Gemini. And she's like, oh, you know, Geminis have bad reps, which I'm not a Gemini. I don't have many Geminis around me, I don't think. But that's what I heard. I've always heard Geminis are special. Not me having dog hair. So for the first impression rose, he gives it to no one other than Leia, which I think well deserved. I liked her. I think they have a connection. And yeah, we see one of the girls, I think Evelyn. She stuck with me because she's a nanny. And I'm like, period. Because I nanny on the side. You know, I got my corporate job and then I got my nanny gig. So she nannies. And she was crying, but I think she was crying more of like, didn't get enough time to like, for him to like get to know her, basically, which I know can be frustrating, especially since Jesse said that like there were more women here, that it was, you know, he made history because there's more women there than there ever has been. So on top of that, we already see that season after season, like some people just don't get the time. But that is kind of why you have to be like persistent, not necessarily like Jess was, but persistent enough to make yourself known. So then we get a real like producer move as he's giving out the roses. Who gets the first rose? Allison. Who gets the last rose? Lauren. So Allison gets the first rose and Lauren kind of reacts like, oh, like you did not get the first rose. Go fuck yourself. And all the other girls are kind of shocked. That could have been an edit. I don't know. Because again, we never know. But it's sister banter. I think I like Lauren. I actually think she's funny and I feel like I connect with her a bit. And I have a sister. So me and my sister are always like, bitch, 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 bitch. You know, that's just how we talk to each other. So I don't think anyone needs to take that too seriously. But that was definitely a producer move, giving one sister one rose and then giving Lauren the last rose. You know, it makes for good TV. They want to see you sweat, basically. So that was pretty much it for the first night. it's never that exciting, I feel, on night one. It's just trying to remember names and faces and all of that. So we do see previews. We see a shit ton of kissing. He talks about how, like, I think he's falling for several women, and there's like a different girl in like every preview. So it does seem like he, like, I don't know, falls in love or almost falls in love with many women. Hopefully he doesn't have like a Ben Higgins moment, if anyone remembers that with JoJo. But yeah, not bad. Not bad for night one, I feel like it's usually a little bit more boring, and hopefully this season doesn't let us down, because I feel like I don't know what the magic was behind The Bachelor. Like, I don't know. What was the last good season? I can't even remember, like, the last really good season. It might have been Ben Higgins. Well, it depends. No, it probably wasn't Ben Higgins. There were a few good ones after that as well. But I feel like The Bachelor used to be so good, and then, I don't know. I feel like it happened during the pandemic. Maybe it was a little too much. They gave us too much, but also not enough because they couldn't do much during the pandemic. So it needs to get back to that. They need to set the standard again. But I think they're doing good so far. So hopefully the rest of the season is worth watching. And I will be back for the next episode. Bye.